Hello, Teacher Kari here. This video is all about the things I wish I knew before I taught my very first class. I'm going to share with you how to prep for your classes, including some examples of how I prep to save time. I will share the good news and the bad news about cancellations. That is, cancellations when the student cancels on you, not when you cancel on them. That would be a different video. I will tell you what happens and what you can expect at the 25-minute mark in a real live classroom. I will quickly show you an example of what my notebook looks like, on how I stay organized with who I'm teaching, what I have coming up for my next classes, and how that helps me personalize feedback to parents. And at the end, I'll answer some questions that you may have asked yourself that could be giving you anxiety, like, what do I do if I finish the slides 5 minutes early? Do I call them by their Chinese name? What do I say on the very first slide where it shows the lesson title? It is definitely important to leave feedback after every single class in a timely manner to maximize your pay. So I will link a video in the comments below on how to leave that feedback and some things that I like to include that I believe have helped me gain some of my regular students. All right, let's get started. Before we jump into prepping for your first class, I want to tell you about the stars that are going to be in your live classroom. It's kind of a big deal. No one told me about the stars. Please make sure you give every student 5 stars, even if they weren't paying attention. Even if they didn't pronounce everything correctly. Even if they were a little late to class. They should get 5 stars unless there is extremely poor behavior. I usually give them a star about every 5 minutes. So I alternate the stars with my other reward, which means they end up getting a star or a reward about every 2 to 3 minutes. Let's talk about prepping for your classes. Once your class is booked, you have access to the lesson you'll be teaching. You do not get access to the PowerPoint slides until your class is booked. If your class has been booked to be held more than 24 hours from now, I would recommend waiting to review the materials. And that is because there is always a chance that that class could be canceled. I don't have time to waste, and I'm sure you don't either. So the best thing to do is to find time in your schedule each day to review materials that you'll be teaching for the following day. That's when you should make notes. I'm a note taker. In a minute, I'll show you my note-taking system and how I've managed to only spend 10 to 15 minutes prepping each lesson. And now my prep time is less than 2 minutes to get ready for 9 classes for the following day. Yes, that's 2 minutes for all 9 classes. When I was a brand new teacher, I wrote a book to prepare for my very first lesson. That's because I was brand new, I had no clue what I was doing, and I was really nervous. Now I laugh when I see those notes because I quickly realized I cannot write a book for every lesson. There's no way. Who has time for that much preparation? Not me. I honestly started thinking VIPKID wasn't going to work out for me because there was way too much prep time involved. Even though the slides are done for us and we don't have to worry about that part, I like to be very prepared and know what I'm going to be saying. So I heard from another teacher that since our classes are only 25 minutes long, it really shouldn't take us more than 25 minutes to prepare for the lesson. I thought to myself, okay, I agree with that, but how's that gonna work? Because I feel like I need more prep time than that. But I'm not gonna work for free. I had no prior experience teaching English as a second language, so everything was brand new to me. I even had to take notes to remind myself, cup your ear and wait and listen for the student to repeat you. So you can see how my notes got lengthy. I quickly learned to limit myself to 4 to 5 3x5 note cards per lesson. And once I became familiar with the curriculum, I could take notes quickly. Plus I knew I only need to take notes 1 time per lesson. Once I have my notes, I have my notes. So it's not something I have to do twice, but there are a lot of lessons, and it depends on how many different levels you choose to get certified for. I taught my first 1,000 classes only being certified in Interactive Level 2 and Level 3. And I recently became certified in trial classes just to give them a try. I can give you the pros and cons to that in another video. I know there are many teachers out there that are certified in all different kinds of levels, which is great because it opens up your availability to many more parents and students. So that is a good thing. The more levels that you're certified for, the more parents and students have access to you. My personal preference was just to see if I could get fully booked for the time slots that I was opening with just Level 2 and Level 3. To give myself less prep time. You may already be very experienced with ESL teaching, or maybe you're just not a note taker and prep is easy for you. If that's the case, just skip to the next tip in the video. Those of you that want to see my notes, here we go. I take my notes using 3x5 index cards. First, I write the name of the lesson in the top left-hand corner. I leave out the extra letters and numbers that aren't necessary. MC stands for master class, so I never write that. The next letter number combination is the level that you're teaching. So I have level 2 and then the unit number, and there is a learning class number 1 or number 2 in your title, but I don't write that down. Learning class 2 is more advanced than learning class 1, and that's all I need to know about that, and it varies per student, so I don't write it on my note card for each lesson. The last number I write down is the lesson number, so in this example, this is level 2, unit 5, lesson 10. The I that I wrote down just means it's interactive. I put a capital I on all of my level 2 notes because it helps me keep my level 2 and level 3 notes separated more easily. Then I read the title of the lesson in the top right-hand corner, or I write the title of the lesson. My numbers coincide with the number of slides. So when I put quotes around something, that tells me what I'm going to say when I get to that slide. If I put parentheses around something, it's telling me to do something. This helps me transition from slide to slide very smoothly. When I'm done teaching the lesson, I paperclip the note cards together and keep them in a plastic photo storage container to stay organized. I had these photo storage containers when I started and they work beautifully. I can fit 2 complete units in each container, and I have a case that holds 12 containers. So all of my level 2 notes can fit in the 6 containers on the left, and all of my level 3 notes can fit in the 6 containers on the right. There are 12 units in each level, and there are 12 lessons in each unit. So that's 144 classes per level, which is a lot of lessons. But I knew that once I taught each lesson one time, and that means I've prepped for that lesson, no more prepping. Once and done. Unless VIPKID changes something. And so far, during the time that I've been working as a teacher, I have only seen minor changes, and VIPKID always lets us know about those so you can feel fully prepared if something does change. And usually those changes are just something minor, like if a slide was confusing, the change is for the better. Let's talk about student cancellations. As much as I love teaching the students, it's always nice to have a little break that you get paid to take. Let's say you show up to class, the start time has begun, you're waiting, no student. You are required to wait there the full 25 minutes. Some students will be a minute late. Once in a while, you'll have a student that's 10 minutes late. And sometimes you'll have that student that doesn't show up at all. You stay in the class for the full 25 minutes, and then you can exit the classroom after 25 minutes has elapsed on the time clock, and you will get paid. I'm going to show you a couple examples of classes that were canceled that I was actually made aware of ahead of time. So that means they canceled within 24 hours of the start time, and I knew the student wasn't going to show up. In this example, I'm glancing at my schedule pretty early in the morning before my classes begin for April 23rd. I can see that my student at 5:30 has canceled. It's called a student no-show, and because she canceled within 24 hours of the start time, no other student can rebook it, and I get paid, including the bonus incentive. So I get paid my $1 participation incentive and my $1 finished booking incentive because I will teach more than 45 classes in a month. This view is through the teacher app on my phone, and I clicked on all bookings from the home page. Those are extra sweet because you've already been made aware that the student's not showing up. It's already marked as a no-show. You'll already see the payment in your payment section of the teacher portal, and you don't have to wait in the classroom when it's already been marked. You do have to sit in the classroom when they have not yet been marked a no-show. You fully were expecting them to show up at class. You just wait it out. Once we're 5 minutes into class and there's no student, it's usually going to turn into a no-show. However, there have been times when a student is extremely late, so just always be prepared. But in those no-show cases, I'll usually just use that block of time to prepare what I'm going to be teaching for the next day. Or I'll finish submitting feedback from classes I taught earlier. I still have the classroom up on my computer, and I can use my phone to submit feedback at the same time. or I'll take a power nap. As long as you have the phone app, you will be notified of these kinds of cancellations that happen in advance of the class starting. Don't be discouraged if you get cancellations further in advance, like more than 24 hours from your class start time. It happens to all of us. There have been times I've received cancellations for 3 classes in the same day before the 24-hour mark, which means that time slot can now be reopened for a different student to book. And at this point in my teaching career, I pretty easily get those rebooked. So it just takes some time to build those regular classes and get your name out there, and it'll happen for you too. Just make sure that 24-hour option is on. Students are able to book you within 24 hours, so check that each day for the following day. At the interview and the mock class, our interviewer wanted us to finish that demo lesson right at 10 minutes. They didn't want us to finish a few seconds early, and they really didn't want you to finish late. So there was a little bit of pressure there to finish right at 10 minutes, right? Well, in your live classroom, you have much more flexibility. You do need to teach the full 25 minutes and not end early. There is a start class button in the top left corner of your classroom. Just click that to begin interacting with your student. I typically click that button 30 seconds to a minute before my class time starts. Here it is. 25 minutes of teaching time starts the minute your class is supposed to start. So if you're teaching a 9 a.m. class and you click the start class button at 8:59, you'll see that time count down until the clock turns to 9 o'clock, and then your elapsed time will start going from there forward to count your 25 minutes of teaching time. After you've started the class, your start class button then turns into a finish class button. Once you've taught for 25 minutes, you can continue teaching for a few extra minutes if you need that time. Maybe you have 1 or 2 more slides to get through, or you just need to say a more heartfelt goodbye, and you should just plan on wrapping up that class somewhere between the 25 and 28 minute mark. My goal is always to wrap it up and finish the class between the 25 and 26 minute mark, unless it's a long lesson. That strategy helps me to have enough time to go in and leave my feedback before my next class starts. So you can sit back and relax and know that you have some flexibility with your ending class time. And just remember, it is more important to make sure you complete the objectives of the class rather than finishing every single detail on every single slide. Okay, I will show you what I do to prepare for the next day. I just use these little cheap little spiral notebooks to keep track of what classes I have coming up every day. I like to work from the phone on my app, so the first thing I do is open the teacher app and click on all bookings. Next, I tap on tomorrow's date to see my upcoming bookings for the next day. Here's what I'm going to write down in my spiral notebook. The date, May 17th, at the top of the page. Then I'll write 5 a.m. Then L3-Unit 7-4 for my lesson number. Next, I like to click on the student names so I can see who I'll be teaching. You can see how many classes you've taught them before, and if they're brand new to me, I put a star by their name in my notebook. You can swipe left to see the reviews on the student and what their performance has been in different subjects. This also helps me plan my pacing so that I know ahead of time whether the student might be a slower reader and need more help, or if they're excellent across the board and I might need to extend most of my slides. You can also see their date of birth to have an idea of their age, and I have room on each page of my notebook to take notes for about 5 classes. I write the time of the class, the name of the student, and the lesson number. I star the names of the students that are brand new to me, and I leave a little space to take my notes. Then I can use this notebook to gather my notes for each class the following day. It's super fast and easy, and when you're taking notes in the notebook, just remember they should be quick, and remember not to look down. Parents don't know what you're doing if you look down. They think you're playing on your phone. These are the notes I would use to personalize my feedback after class. And I will leave a link in the comments below with my favorite extension ideas for levels 2 and level 3. Okay, let's answer some random questions that may have crossed your mind. What if you finish the slides early? What do you do? Because you have to stay in that class and teach for 25 minutes. Well, you can pace yourself. Generally, stick to a minute per slide. There's 25 minutes in the class. There's usually about 25 slides. Remember that the first slide is your title page, super fast slide. The last slide is your goodbye slide, another super fast slide. But so typically a minute per slide for your 25 slides. And if you just watch the clock as you're moving through the lesson, you'll know whether you need to start extending because the student is moving at a rapid pace, or whether you need to speed up what you're teaching on each slide because you're falling a little behind. As long as you review the materials and prepare, especially with experience, you'll get even better at landing at that 25-minute mark. But if you need a little bit of extra time to teach, or if you have a little bit of extra time to teach and you're not sure what to fill it with, you can always go to the very last slide after the goodbye slide, skip over the goodbye slide and just go to the blank screen and have them do something that goes along with the lesson. Maybe you can have them draw a picture, or you can have them write their name, or write a sentence, or spell their sight words, write numbers, something that goes with the lesson, or ask them more questions, make it free talk, maybe ask them to ask you a question. You can fill that time. Some of the students use their Chinese name, and most of them have an English name that they like to be called. So you'll see their name as they book you, and some of them that do have their Chinese name on there, they still might give you an English name when you say, "What is your name?" So be listening for that. But there are some students that will stick to their Chinese name. So you just repeat it as best you can. I usually repeat it the first time kind of like a little embarrassed, like I'll say it and then, did I say it right kind of face? And they'll usually repeat it or laugh a little. If I didn't quite get it right, they'll say it again. If I did, they'll say yes or okay or something like that. So, and as I'm saying it, I'm writing it in my notebook without looking down at my notebook. I'm just jotting down some letters and a way that I can pronounce it correctly so I can continue using their name throughout the lesson. But most of your students are going to go by an English name, so you'll be talking to Jerry, Leo, Gina. It's pretty easy. So I always start with, "Hello, my name is Teacher Kari. What is your name?" And we do the "How are you? How old are you?" We have a greeting time, and then I say, "Are you ready?" And they say, "Let's go." And I underline the title. I read the title and I just put my hand up so that they can repeat it to me. And then the title of the lesson, I read that. So we read the entire title and subtitle on that first page together. If you have a unit assessment coming up, I'd love to help you, just give you some pointers on that. I'm gonna record a separate quick video on it, so it'll be posted, the link will be posted in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I hope you found something in this video helpful for you. If you did like something in the video, just give it a thumbs up, and you're welcome to subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future videos that may be helpful to you. Happy teaching!